The next generation iPad Mini 8 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting and powerful compact tablets Apple has ever made, and what's coming might completely change how people look at small tablets forever. Imagine holding a device that fits comfortably in your hand, yet has the power, efficiency, and intelligence of Apple's most advanced systems. That's the kind of experience Apple is rumored to deliver with the iPad Mini 8. For months, leaks have been swirling around tech communities, hinting at a massive internal and visual upgrade that could make this device the true hidden gem of Apple's 2026 lineup. According to multiple credible insiders and supply chain reports, Apple is working behind the scenes with Samsung Display to bring OLED technology to the Mini for the first time, which alone could transform how this tiny tablet looks and feels. OLED means richer blacks, perfect contrast, punchier colors, and much higher efficiency than traditional LCD, giving everything from movies to games an almost cinematic experience. Apple's decision to move to OLED isn't just a random upgrade. It's part of a long-term shift to make every display on its major devices look consistent and premium. What's even more fascinating is that reports suggest this panel won't be just any standard OLED, but a finely tuned one, designed to balance brightness, durability, and battery performance for smaller form factors. There's a good chance Apple will go for an 8-inch edge-to-edge design, possibly with slimmer bezels and a slightly thinner chassis, giving it a futuristic and more immersive appearance without compromising that perfect one-hand usability that people love about the Mini. On the inside, though, is where the real magic seems to be happening. Multiple leaks, including those from McRumors and industry analyst Ross Young, suggest Apple is testing internal prototypes powered by the next-generation A19 Pro Chip, the same processor expected to power the iPhone 17 Pro models. That's insane performance for a tablet this small. The A19 Pro will likely deliver faster CPU speeds, improved GPU rendering, and far better thermal efficiency, allowing the iPad Mini 8 to handle console-level gaming, creative workflows, and multitasking without breaking a sweat. Imagine running advanced photo editing, 4K video rendering, or Apple Intelligence features in such a small package. It's almost absurdly powerful for its size, and that's exactly the kind of experience Apple seems to be targeting. Power that travels anywhere, anytime. The A19 Pro isn't just about speed. It's also about intelligence. With Apple pushing deeper into on-device AI processing, this chip could unlock smarter photo edits, real-time language translation, predictive writing, and more, all while keeping your data private. Some insiders even speculate that this new Mini will ship with 12 GB of unified memory, matching what we're seeing in Apple's higher-end Pro devices. That would make it a small but mighty machine capable of running multiple apps at once, playing Apple Arcade titles, and even managing light 3D work. And when you pair that with an OLED display, the experience becomes fluid, rich, and incredibly immersive. The design, according to early renders, isn't expected to change drastically, but there may be subtle refinements, tighter curves, a flatter edge profile, and slightly repositioned buttons. Some rumors even hint at a newly engineered camera bump, improved ultra-wide sensor, and possibly a new flash layout. But Apple's focus seems to be on perfecting the ergonomics, not reinventing them. The current iPad Mini design is already loved by many for its simplicity and balance, and Apple knows better than to fix what isn't broken. What could change significantly, however, is the accessory ecosystem. With the iPad Mini 8 potentially supporting new magnetic connectors and Apple Pencil 3 compatibility, Apple might be preparing a fresh lineup of accessories that transform it into a true productivity hub. Imagine snapping on a lightweight keyboard or a redesigned folio case that makes typing and sketching more intuitive than ever. The company could also introduce color-matched finishes or even experimental textures to make the device stand out visually. Underneath, improvements to battery life are expected, mainly because OLED panels consume less power when displaying darker content, and the A19 chip is rumored to use an even smaller nanometer process, delivering exceptional energy efficiency. If that's true, we might be looking at an iPad Mini that can easily last over 12 hours of mixed use, which would make it one of the most travel-friendly devices Apple has ever created. As for the pricing, early reports suggest Apple will likely keep it in the same range as the previous model, maybe slightly higher to account for the OLED upgrade, but definitely not as high as the iPad Pro. This would position the Mini as the perfect middle ground between affordability and flagship performance, something the market has been craving. Now let's talk about why Apple's timing makes sense. The current iPad Mini 7 launched in late 2024 with the A17 Pro Chip, And while it's a great device, it felt more like a gentle update than a revolution. Apple likely wants the Mini 8 to feel like a massive leap forward, something that justifies waiting another year or two. Reports point toward an early or mid-2026 release window, which aligns with Apple's OLED production timeline and supply chain readiness. Samsung Display is reportedly in the final stages of testing around 8-inch OLED panels for Apple devices, and mass production could begin by late 2025, meaning the Mini 8 would debut soon after. This timing also fits Apple's strategy to stagger its OLED rollout, first on the iPad Pro line, then the Mini, and later across the entire range. Now here's where things get interesting. Some insiders believe the iPad Mini 8 might quietly become one of Apple's most loved devices, simply because of its form factor and power balance. Think about it. Most people want something portable but capable, and that's exactly what this device represents. With the rumored upgrades, the Mini 8 could rival larger tablets and even some laptops in performance, yet still slip into a small bag or jacket pocket. That combination of mobility and muscle is what might make this model a huge hit, especially among students, creators, and tech enthusiasts. There's also speculation that Apple may integrate more AI-driven features into iPadOS 19 for the Mini 8, things like enhanced multitasking suggestions, real-time Siri improvements, and contextual app actions that respond intelligently to your workflow. Combined with the A19 Pro's neural engine, this could make the iPad Mini 8 one of the smartest small devices ever created. Some reports even hint that Apple is internally testing new display calibration algorithms to make the OLED screen more color accurate than anything in its size category. That could appeal to digital artists, photographers, and media professionals who value precision visuals but don't need a large screen. And because Apple is focusing on sustainability, it's likely the Mini 8 will include recycled materials, a more repair-friendly design, and a refined manufacturing process that aligns with their 2030 carbon-neutral goals. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room, the price. OLED panels are expensive, and Apple's quality control is even more demanding. While most rumors suggest the iPad Mini 8 will start around the same price as the current model, some analysts think it could go up by $50 to $100. Still, considering the upgrades, OLED display, A19 Pro Chip, extended battery life, and potential accessory compatibility, that increase might be justified. The biggest question, though, is whether it will finally support a higher refresh rate like 120 Hz. As of now, most sources say no. Apple likely wants to keep promotion exclusive to the iPad Pro series, but who knows? The Mini 8 could surprise us with a hybrid approach, a smoother 90 Hz panel that strikes a perfect balance between fluidity and battery life. Either way, the experience will be noticeably better than before. In the end, the iPad Mini 8 feels like Apple's most underrated product in development. Quietly powerful, elegantly compact, and perfectly timed for the next phase of mobile computing. It represents a shift from just being a small iPad to being a serious performance device that can handle anything you throw at it while fitting neatly in your hand. And if all these leaks are even half true, this little tablet could easily become one of Apple's best-selling devices of 2026. So the big question now is, should you wait for it? Well, if you already own the iPad Mini 7, you're still holding one of the most efficient tablets out there. But if you crave that OLED brilliance, next-gen performance, and a design that feels like the future in your palm, then the iPad Mini 8 might just be worth the wait. Apple is clearly taking its time, and that patience usually means they're building something special. The iPad Mini 8 could be the perfect balance between portability and power, giving users the magic of Apple's high-end devices without the bulk or price of the larger models. So, stay tuned, because when Apple finally lifts the curtain, this little giant might just steal the entire show. And if you're a true tech enthusiast who loves staying one step ahead of the official announcements, make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell icon, and keep watching. Because when the iPad Mini 8 drops, you'll know every secret before it even hits the shelves.